All right, picture this. Socrates, barefoot, toga-clad, relentlessly questioning everyone he meets. Now drop him right into the chaotic, pixelated world of 2025. He picks up your phone, scrolls through your perfectly curated feed, and instead of marveling at technological progress, you'd probably hear him mutter, "This cave just got a whole lot bigger, and the shadows? Oh, they're so much louder now. What's he seeing?" In less than a minute, he's probably spotted a dozen instances of virtue signaling, a handful of humble brags, and a comment thread where everyone's passionately right and absolutely no one is genuinely listening. He wouldn't call that progress or connection. He'd call it a Greek tragedy, meticulously written in fleeting pixels. Now stay with me, because this isn't just a historical thought experiment. The very same guy who famously declared, "I know that I know nothing," would undoubtedly swipe past your filtered selfies and carefully crafted life updates, pausing only to ask a very simple, yet profoundly annoying question. Are you truly living, or are you just performing? That question, my friends, is still ringing in our ears today, louder than ever. Let's be honest, social media operates on a very specific kind of economy. The currency isn't just money, it's attention. The factory, well, that's you, diligently producing content. And the product? An idealized, often heavily edited version of yourself. Socrates, ever the keen observer of human nature, would immediately pick up on two glaring realities. First, it seems like everyone is perpetually happy, incredibly healthy, and absolutely crushing it in every aspect of life. Second, the loudest voices, the ones with the most followers, rarely seem to pause and ask themselves, wait a minute, do I actually know what I'm talking about? He spent his entire life, quite literally, undermining that exact toxic combination of arrogance and ignorance. Think about it. In Plato's Apology, Socrates famously states that the unexamined life is not worth living. Meanwhile, the average user today spends upwards of 2.5 hours a day meticulously curating an unexamined highlight reel. That kind of math, it would make him wince harder than the hemlock he eventually drank. He'd see us frantically chasing external validation, building elaborate digital facades, all while neglecting the inner work, the genuine self-reflection that he believed was the cornerstone of a meaningful existence. We're so busy projecting an image of being fine that we often forget to actually be fine, or at least to honestly grapple with what that even means. Ancient Athens had its own version of modern-day influencers, the sophists. These were professional talkers, traveling teachers who essentially sold wisdom like it was fast food. Quick, tasty, and ultimately pretty forgettable. Their primary goal wasn't to uncover truth, but to teach people how to win arguments, how to persuade, how to sound smart, regardless of the underlying substance. And Socrates, he absolutely despised them. He saw them as intellectual charlatans, more interested in rhetoric and personal gain than in genuine philosophical inquiry. Fast forward to today, swap out the flowing robes for ring lights and slick editing, and what do you have? Influencers promising overnight wealth, miraculous six-pack abs, or instant moral clarity in a 15-second TikTok. The platform, whether we like it or not, rewards whatever keeps thumbs scrolling and eyes glued to the screen, not necessarily what nurtures deep thought or genuine personal growth. Socrates' fundamental beef was simple yet profound. When persuasion, performance, and popularity replaced the arduous, often uncomfortable journey of truth-seeking, society inevitably trades authentic wisdom for clever marketing. And then we often mistakenly call that philosophy or insight. If you think he'd applaud your 300-word caption explaining why everyone else is ethically wrong, or your perfectly crafted tweet that ratioed someone, guess again. He'd be there, in your comments section, asking relentless follow-up questions, probing every assumption until the whole thread either melted down or perhaps sparked a moment of genuine self-reflection. He wouldn't care about your follower count. He'd care about your intellectual integrity. Scroll a bit further, and you'll inevitably stumble into the daily outrage cycle. A headline drops, often designed to provoke, takes 10 seconds to read, and instantly, we're all split into fiercely opposing teams. Socrates would have a very specific name for that: doxa. Not true knowledge but mere opinion, often dressed up in the authoritative garb of certainty. He spent entire dialogues patiently, painstakingly, proving that moral grandstanding is incredibly easy. True moral understanding, however, is exceptionally difficult. It requires nuance, empathy, and a willingness to sit with discomfort. On our feeds, complexity is the first casualty of compression. Nuance dies a quick death in a character limit. A person's entire worth, their character, their intentions, can be reduced to a single post, a single like, or perhaps even more damning, the absence of a like. The philosopher who famously said, "I know that I know nothing," would look at millions of people confidently claiming to know everything, often in 280 characters or less, and be utterly bewildered. The sheer humility gap between his approach and ours would horrify him far more than any grammatical error or misspelled word. He understood that genuine moral work isn't about broadcasting your outrage. It's about deeply examining your own principles, challenging your own biases, and striving for a consistent, coherent, ethical framework that stands up to rigorous scrutiny, not just public applause. Plato, Socrates' most famous student, tells a fascinating story: the myth of the ring of Gyges. It's about a magic ring that grants its wearer invisibility. And what happens when an ordinary shepherd finds it? He immediately cheats, steals, murders, because anonymity, it turns out, is a powerful eraser of accountability. Online, we're all given tiny digital versions of that ring. The combination of distance and anonymity often grants us a false sense of courage, minus the real-world consequences. Socrates would quickly notice how effortlessly we slide from a polite, "I respectfully disagree," to a venomous, "You're trash," or "You're an idiot." These are statements most people would rarely, if ever, utter face-to-face. The ring of Gyges didn't corrupt the shepherd, it merely revealed him. Similarly, the platform itself doesn't inherently make us awful people. It simply removes the social breaks, the immediate feedback loops, the human gaze that usually keeps our baser impulses in check. Socrates, always focused on the internal state, would argue that the true solution isn't better filters or more sophisticated moderation algorithms. No, the solution lies in cultivating better souls, and souls he believed upgrade only through relentless self-interrogation, through honest, uncomfortable self-assessment, not through anonymously ratioing strangers or engaging in endless online skirmishes. He'd remind us that true courage isn't found in hiding behind a screen. It's found in the vulnerability of genuine, accountable interaction. Socrates didn't just sit around contemplating. He walked the bustling streets of Athens, engaging everyone, politicians, poets, artisans, in probing conversations until they often admitted their supposed certainty was, in fact, hollow. His method was deceptively simple. Keep asking, "What exactly do you mean by that?" until the facade of assumed knowledge cracked. Now imagine trying that under an Instagram post where someone confidently declares, "If you don't share this, you're part of the problem." Watch the block count rise, right? We don't go on social media to be questioned. We go there predominantly to be validated. We seek affirmation for our opinions, our lifestyles, our very identities. Yet validation without examination, Socrates would argue, is merely the food of the ego, tasty perhaps in the moment, but ultimately toxic to genuine intellectual and moral growth. True knowledge, he insisted, is first turned inward, critically examining one's own beliefs and assumptions. The selfie, by its very definition, looks outward, seeking external approval. That fundamental mismatch between inward truth and outward performance would keep him up at night. He'd probably be found trolling threads with annoying, clarifying questions until the moderators, baffled by his relentless pursuit of definitional clarity, banned him for sea lioning. He wasn't interested in superficial agreement. He was interested in the hard work of truly understanding. Here's another uniquely modern twist that would baffle our ancient philosopher: the concept of identity becoming modular. You meticulously craft one face for TikTok, another polished persona for LinkedIn, and yet another, perhaps more edgy or irreverent, for Twitter. Socrates, however, believed that the soul should be integrated, whole, and consistent. For him, virtue was found in the harmony within oneself and in one's consistent actions within the community. This constant shape-shifting, this chameleon-like adaptation to different platforms and audiences, would look to him less like versatility and more like a moral, multiple personality disorder. He'd likely ask, with genuine bewilderment, which of these many selves is the real you? And how do you ever expect to become truly good, truly virtuous, if you're so busy becoming legion, trying to be everything to everyone? The algorithm, bless its complex heart, loves novelty, loves change, loves seeing you adapt. But the human soul, the very core of our being, needs continuity, needs consistency, needs a stable foundation to build upon. In this relentless race to stay relevant, to keep up with trends, to chase the next fleeting wave of digital popularity, we inadvertently fracture ourselves into marketable brands. And then, perhaps predictably, we wonder why we often feel so hollow, so disconnected, so much like merchandise rather than whole integrated beings. Socrates would see this as a profound loss of self, a sacrifice of internal coherence for external appeal. Socrates wouldn't just critique, he'd absolutely offer a fix, though it's probably the furthest thing from viral content you could imagine. His antidote is simple, direct, and inconvenient. Step 1. Log off. Not for an hour, but long enough to truly feel boredom. Why boredom? Because boredom, that uncomfortable quiet space, is often the unexpected doorway to genuine self-reflection, to introspection. It's when your mind, stripped of external stimuli, finally has a chance to wander, to question, to just be with itself. Step 2. Find a real friend, not just an echo chamber buddy, but someone who genuinely disagrees with you on something important. Then sit down and talk, and I mean talk, not debate. Engage in a dialogue, a true exchange of ideas, until you can articulate their viewpoint as convincingly, as fairly, as if it were your own. That's the real test of understanding, not just winning an argument. It's about building bridges, not burning them. Step 3. Repeat steps 1 and 2 daily. No hashtags required, no stories to post, no likes to chase. Just the quiet, consistent, arduous work of personal and interpersonal growth. Socrates knew that virtue isn't some abstract concept you learn from a book. It's social, it's lived, it's forged in the friction of live encounter. It demands the messy, unpredictable reality of human interaction, not the frictionless ease of a block button or a muted account. He would, without a shadow of a doubt, trade 1 million followers for one truly honest, face-to-face dialogue. Why? Because only genuine dialogue forces you to confront the gaps in your own story, the flaws in your own logic, the limitations of your own perspective. The man literally chose death over silence. He would choose conversation over content every single time. All right, your turn. How about trying a 24-hour Socrates cleanse? Before you hit that post button, just pause and ask yourself, am I genuinely adding clarity here, or am I just contributing to the noise? Before you share that scorching hot take, ask, could I honestly defend this viewpoint in person, under rigorous good faith questioning, without resorting to insults or evasion? Then here's a challenge. Comment below with the most annoying Socratic question you've ever been asked. Or even better, ask yourself one right now. If this whole discussion stings a little, if it makes you feel even a tiny bit uncomfortable, good. That probably means you're alive, you're thinking, and you're open to growth. Don't forget to subscribe for more philosophical discomfort delivered weekly, because let's face it, comfort never truly shook a soul awake. Ultimately, Socrates cared about one fundamental thing: transforming the examined life into a virtuous life. Your social media feed, believe it or not, can either powerfully aid that quest or completely hijack it. If what you're primarily encountering is constant applause, tempting shortcuts, and unshakable certainty, then you're probably not engaged in philosophy. You're deep in the world of marketing and self-promotion. So the next time you instinctively open that app, just imagine the old man, barefoot and wise, standing right behind you. He's not whispering, "Show thyself." No, his timeless counsel, echoing across millennia, would simply be, "Know thyself." And remember this: the unexamined scroll might not kill you, but it certainly won't let you truly live. It won't let you flourish, grow, or become the integrated, thoughtful individual you're truly capable of being.